Jesus Christ, my city is way too hot to do that. Bam, 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 bam! It's Mr. Dancer and his magic mask! Bam, bam! Hello everyone, today I'm pretty excited because we're gonna be talking about my greatest camping trip of all time. Oh boy, golly gee! Nah, luckily I'm not doing that because you know what? Fuck nature! Instead, I'm going to be talking about the film White Mountains. It was made in 1965 in Kyrgyzstan, making it one of the rare films from that country and also a Soviet film. Let's get into the details and figure out why this film is worth your time. Our film introduces us to a character named Mukash. He is running away from Russians. A communist man saves him and tells him about the fight, and he should go to the city and join the fight.
Слышь, парень, хочешь бить беляков? Иди к нам. Дадим коня, винтовку. Будем воевать с контрой, с баями. Согласен?
Mukash wants to go, but he has obligations back at home. There, he meets a blind lady whose daughter is about to get into an arranged marriage. He falls in love with her and decides to save her. He wants to bring her to the city with him. However, as they are running, they're immediately being chased, and someone ends up having to make the ultimate sacrifice. So yeah, this seems like a simple story of boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl, boy tries to save girl. Truly a story about Chads. Wait, that sounds just like me. What really makes this film different though is the poetic atmosphere. The film is a visual poem. The plot is linear, but the cinematography, the dialogue, all of it is extremely abstract.
А если мы найдем мир и траву, мы будем слышать, как растут деревья, травы. И люди нам никогда не соврут.
Будут врать. Ведь это люди.
Но мы будем знать, что это ложь.
White Mountains is just great filmmaking, but what really stands out to me is this sort of cultural slow death, how the characters and their culture is slowly eaten away through tensions and modernity. And let me be clear, the word slow is really important to me because I love snail girls. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Anyways, Mukash represents something that many cultures experienced long ago and still do today. His desire to join the communists in the big city is halted by where he belongs. Cultures get torn apart because of globalization. People can't resist the promises globalization gives, but they can't give up who they are. Yet, globalization pits cultures as a polar opposite, and they become binaries. Humans don't work like that, so many end up getting trapped, isolated away by globalization for who they are, but still slowly being killed off by globalization's suffocation. That's what White Mountains is about. White Mountains is a poem, but the tune decays and it's stagnant. It's a slow burn, but it stinks of death. Look, if it isn't obvious already, I'm not a huge fan of nature. I mean, come on, this is the type of books I read. I'm gonna read a passage from here and educate you plebeians. Foo, my boobs are started to tingling. Could you lick them for me, Oni-chan? Gas, you weren't wearing any panties. Amazing, your nipples are already erect. It's become like that after being rubbed with clothes on. Oni-chan's voice seems kind of hot. What the fuck, did I get a wrong version or something? Really though, even I have to admit that this film has some of the most beautiful nature black and white cinematography. Think of films like The Great Silence or Keta Lazarova, even The Ascent. They're just always so beautiful. Something about snow in black and white is always good. Maybe we were right about the Eskimos. Come on, Joe. Let me hear your 50 words for snow. In the beginning of this film, it's extremely snowy. A lot of the snow disappears by the end of the film. It's interesting. The nature in this film is very transitional. You have a dusk and a dawn. The snow melts into rapid waters. You almost feel like you're stuck in a transitional season. And this is the type of environment the film gives you and lets the characters situate themselves. It's smart because slow death doesn't happen because of just cultural isolation or just because of globalization. Slow death happens because the two are posited together. You can only see the decay when you have both sides of the coin. In White Mountains, nature is both sides. Here are some examples of what I mean. White Mountains has a ton of mountains. That's just facts. They are a symbol for isolation. They're impossible to move, and they surround you, unless you're the legendary Yugong.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb.
But these characters are not. So instead, these characters exist in a world where these dreary mountains just surround them. But it's not just the mountains. Take a look at some of these scenes and look at the background, the trees. There's no wind, nothing is moving, it's frozen. And if you listen, you won't hear life in the nature either. That's not normal. The stereotype of nature is that it's full of life. Even the manga Koko no Hito doesn't have still nature. It's literally a manga, so the images are still. But whenever the dude climbs on top of the mountain and gazes into the sky, his scenes are moving, their energy, he's full of life. This is how media usually portrays nature, and I truly love that. These mountains entrap the character's culture. They're stuck inside, and they can't get out. There's no sight for progress for them. If they want to do that, they must leave their culture behind.
Есть за горами город большой, где ученье беднякам раскрывает глаза.
As you can see from that quote, Mokash understands this, but he still can't leave. Fundamentally, a part of him is trapped within the mountains. However, there is one part of nature that is constantly moving, and that's water.
Хочу податься в город. Грамоту мне бы узнать. Грамоте научиться. Страшно в темноте. Мне бы ее. Описал бы я тогда сегодняшнюю ночь. Этот родник и тебя.
While mountains provide the dread, water provides the hope. It promises freedom, activity, progress. The characters in White Mountains are forced to act. No one chooses to completely stay and retain their culture within the mountains, but they will unfortunately always be too slow for the water and be left behind. This is the position small cultures are put in through modernity.
Mary had a little lamb.
Okay, I'm no object-oriented ontologist here, so let's actually talk about things that live. I really like how there are so many different types of animals in this film. There's this dog with a mirror,
ほらほら
and a cute sheep staring at a dog.
ほら
Some llamas or camels, I'm really not sure.
ほら
And of course, we have some magnificent horses.
ほらほらほら
Wow, I don't really usually care for animals, but this fucking film's animals really turned me on. I guess I did find it cool how these animals weren't really separate from humans. They were always being used. They were part of the human society that the film was in. The characters are important too. While nature frames White Mountains, the characters live it. Since the film is time-specific and location-specific, the film is really about the death of Kyrgyzstan. In this way, you get to see a lot of the Kyrgyzstan culture. I really don't know too much about Kyrgyzstan, so it was pretty cool to see all that. I got to see clothes, their yurtas, and I think Neil Peart even? These characters are in a transitional era in the same way nature is in this film. The Russians oppress Mokash and keeps him within his culture. The communists are ones that give Mokash hope, but they are also the ones who are the source for the ultimate sacrifice at the end, because he is still tied to his home and can't completely invest his life into this communist province.
Пожелаю счастья. Только счастья.
I hope I did a decent job in convincing you guys to watch this film. It really is very interesting and a very unique experience. If you like poetic films, this is one you must not miss. Also, I'm open to more discussion, so if you've seen this film and think I have said something you don't agree with, or you like something I said, leave the comments down below. I'll read them and talk to you with you. You can also join my social media and then talk to me there. I love talking about film, so with that said, Mr. Dancer and his magic mask will see you next time.
Как вас зовут?
Мукаш.